As a low-impact exercise, rowing is an excellent way to safely warm up and raise the heart rate. The movement of rowing targets nearly every major muscle group of the body, helping to develop overall fitness. Rowing can be performed using both the interval and anaerobic threshold protocols. Remember to focus on engaging the muscles involved and applying the fundamentals of rooting, total body tension, and breathing. This will maximize the safety and benefit of the exercise. Before starting the rowing movement, set the resistance wheel to 3 or lower. Next, adjust the footboards and straps so that the straps are secured directly over the balls of the feet. Grasp the handle with a light claw-like grip so that the handle can pivot throughout the exercise. Sit tall with the core activated, the chest up, and the head in a neutral position. Rowing is comprised of 2 phases, the drive and the catch. The drive is the resistance and exertion phase of the exercise. Begin the drive with a flat back and powerful push of the legs. Pivot at the hips, bringing the torso slightly back. Engage scapular retraction and pull the handle to the solar plexus with the elbows by the sides. The catch is the release of the concentric movement, the return to the starting position, and the preparation for the next drive phase. Start the catch phase by extending the arms forward, moving the torso upright. As the arms reach full extension, pull the gluteus muscles to the heels. Throughout both the drive and catch phases, remember to keep the back flat and head up in a neutral position. Perform the rowing movement in a consistent and rhythmic manner in order to execute precise form and a complete range of motion. Be sure to exhale during the drive phase and inhale during the catch phase. Once the rowing movement is mastered, one can progress to a faster, more powerful tempo in accordance with either the interval or anaerobic threshold protocols. Be careful to avoid common mistakes when rowing, such as gripping the handle too tight, lowering the head and hunching the back, isolating the movement of the legs and then the arms, driving with the arms first, and pulling the handle and elbows too high. Requiring coordination, balance, and timing, the squat exercise can play an important role in developing overall fitness. The primary muscles targeted in the squat are the spinous erectus, glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, adductors, and core. When performing the squat, focus on engaging the muscles involved and applying the fundamentals of rooting, total body tension, and breathing in order to maximize the safety and benefit of the exercise. Before starting the squat movement, check the height and symmetry of the bar. Step back and gather focus. When ready, re-engage the bar and establish a symmetrical grip. Step under the bar and rest it securely below the neck on the trapezius muscles. With the eyes up, activate the core and push the heels downward to lift the bar. Take 2 steps backward. Place the feet wider than the shoulders with the toes pointed outward. Pause to root the feet and initiate total body tension. Start the lowering down phase of the squat by slowly bending the knees and lowering the glutes, keeping the head up, eyes forward, back straight, and chest out. At the bottom of the squat, the body should look like a number 4. Begin the raising up phase of the squat by pushing the heels into the floor while driving the hips back to the starting position. Throughout the movement, focus on keeping the head up, eyes forward, back straight, and chest out. When performing the squat, focus upon a slow and controlled tempo. Breathe in coordination with the movement. Inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase. Exhale before and throughout the concentric raising up phase. Avoid common mistakes when squatting, such as lowering the head and rounding the back, placing the weight on the balls of the feet, bending at the waist before the knees, and failing to pause. The deadlift is a demanding, full-body movement that involves nearly every muscle of the body. The primary muscles targeted by the deadlift are the trapezius, spinous erectus, glutes, hamstrings, quadriceps, adductors, and core. When performing the deadlift, focus on engaging the muscles involved and applying the fundamentals of rooting, total body tension, and breathing in order to maximize the safety and benefit of the exercise. Before performing the deadlift, gather focus. When ready, step up so that the shins touch the bar and place the feet shoulder width apart with the toes pointed outward in line with the knees. Establish a symmetrical grip. Straighten the arms and lower the glutes until the thighs are parallel to the floor. With the head and eyes up, the back straight, and the chest out, root the feet and activate total body tension. The deadlift is composed of 2 phases, the lifting up phase and the lowering down phase. Initiate the lifting up phase by slowly driving the heels into the floor and bending the knee and hip joints in unison. Keep the head and eyes up, the back straight, and the chest out in a solid posture. The bar should travel in a straight vertical plane up the shins to the middle of the quadriceps. Pause at the top of the movement in a solid, upright stance. Begin the lowering down phase by slowly reversing the movement and path. Bend at the knee and hip joints so that the bar moves downward in a vertical plane. Throughout both phases, always keep the weight on the heels with the head and eyes up, the back straight, and the chest out. The deadlift should be executed in a slow and controlled manner, ensuring that the breath is coordinated with the movement. Exhale before and throughout the concentric lifting up phase. Inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase. There are many beneficial variations on the deadlift exercise. While each variation is slightly different, the concepts of rooting, total body tension, breathing, and posture are universal. The sumo deadlift allows for a more upright posture, engaging less of the lower back and more of the adductors. Perform the sumo deadlift with a wider stance and a reverse grip. The dumbbell deadlift can also be performed in a more upright posture and allows for a lighter weight to be lifted. Perform dumbbell deadlifts with either a singular weight held between the knees or with two weights held at the sides. Avoid common mistakes of the deadlift, such as lowering the head and rounding the back, positioning the bar away from the shins, leaning forward on the toes, arching the back at the top of the lift, failing to bend the knees and lower the thighs, and engaging the elbows or shoulders. The pull-up exercise engages much of the upper body, primarily targeting the latissimus dorsi, rhomboids, trapezius, and biceps. Remember to focus on engaging the muscles involved and applying the fundamentals of rooting, total body tension, and breathing. This will maximize the safety and benefit of the exercise. Prepare for the pull-up by gripping the bar with the hands slightly wider than shoulder width apart. The body should hang with the ears, shoulders, and hips in alignment. Begin the pull-up movement by activating total body tension and moving the shoulder blades into scapular retraction. Bend at the elbows to slowly pull the chest towards the bar. Briefly pause at the apex of the movement. Then slowly lower the body to the starting position. The pull-up should be executed in a slow, consistent, and controlled manner. This ensures that the breathing is properly coordinated with the movement. Exhale through the concentric pulling up phase. Inhale during the eccentric lowering down phase. To ensure safety and a high-quality workout, avoid common pull-up mistakes, such as lack of total body tension, swinging for momentum, unnecessary body movement, failing to pause at the apex, and reaching with the chin. As a variation on the pull-up exercise, the wide grip pull-down targets the same muscles, reaping similar health benefits. Before starting the pull-down exercise, adjust the seat so that the feet can be placed directly under the knees. Root the feet flat into the floor. Grip the bar wider than the shoulders and hinge slightly back at the hips. Begin the pull down by moving the scapula into retraction as far as possible. Pull the bar downward as the chest lifts slightly to meet the bar. Pause at the peak of this concentric phase, then slowly return to the starting position. Like the pull-up, always perform the seated pull-down movement in a slow and controlled manner. Exhale during the concentric pulling down phase, and inhale during the eccentric raising up phase. Avoid common pull-down mistakes, such as not rooting the feet, swinging backward for momentum, pulling the bar behind the neck, pulling the handle to the waist, and shortening the range of motion. The bench press helps to develop the upper body and muscular balance. The muscles targeted by the bench press are the pectorals, deltoids, forearms, core, and triceps. When performing the bench press, focus on engaging the muscles involved and applying the fundamentals of rooting, total body tension, and proper breathing in order to maximize the safety and benefit of the exercise. Begin the bench press by establishing the 5 points of contact: the head, shoulders, hips, and feet. Root the feet firmly into the floor. Engage scapular retraction. Grasp the bar wider than the shoulders, and activate the core and total body tension. The bench press is comprised of 2 phases: the lowering down phase and the pushing up phase. During the eccentric lowering down phase, control the bar slowly and evenly downward, and lightly touch the bar to the lower pectoral muscles. During the concentric pushing up phase, keep the shoulders back and move the bar evenly upward in the same plane of motion as in the lowering down phase. Move through each of the bench press phases with a slow and even tempo, making sure to pause at the bottom and at the top of the movement. Always breathe in coordination with the exercise. Inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase. Begin to exhale before and continue to exhale throughout the concentric pushing up phase. Be sure to avoid common mistakes when bench pressing, such as falling back onto the bench, not rooting the feet, moving the bar unevenly, bouncing the bar off the sternum, and shortening the range of motion. Like the bench press, the push-up develops upper body strength and engages the stabilizing muscles of the core. Start the push-up movement with the hands just slightly wider than the shoulders and root them firmly into the floor. Flex the toes forward to stabilize the lower body. Engage scapular retraction and initiate total body tension to firmly set the body into a straight, neutral position. Throughout the exercise, the ears, shoulders, hips, knees, and ankles should stay in alignment. Begin the push-up movement by slowly bending the elbows to the sides. Lower the chest to just above the floor. Pause briefly at the bottom of the movement. Then slowly and evenly push upward to return to the starting position. Like the bench press, the tempo of the push-up should be slow and controlled. Inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase and begin to exhale before and throughout the concentric pushing up phase. Be sure to avoid common mistakes of the push-up, such as not aligning the hands below the shoulders, dropping the head, not engaging the core or an aligned posture, shortening the range of motion, and not pausing at the top and bottom of the movement. The term core refers to the stabilizing muscles of the midsection that are activated by almost every bodily movement. Because of this, developing a strong core is critical to maximizing safety and performance. Target the abdominals and obliques with the crunch exercise. Target the lower back, glutes, and hamstrings by performing back extensions. Before starting the crunch, achieve proper core activation by bending the knees, rooting the feet, and engaging a pelvic tilt to flatten the lower back into the floor. Begin the crunch movement by contracting the abdominals and slowly moving the lower ribs towards the top of the hip bones. The shoulders lift slightly off the floor as the fingertips move toward the heels. Pause at the apex of the movement and slowly lower the body back to the starting position. Be sure to maintain a neutral neck position throughout the exercise. A proper crunch is a slow and controlled movement. Exhale before and throughout the concentric moving up phase. Pause at the apex of the movement and inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase. Be sure to avoid common mistakes of the crunch exercise, such as pulling the head or neck, shortening the range of motion, activating the legs and hip flexors, and moving too quickly. Develop core strength in the lower back with the back extension exercise. Before starting the movement, securely position the back of the ankles against the foot supports. Rest the top of the hip bones slightly in front of the thigh pads in a comfortable position. Fold the arms over the chest and establish a straight alignment of the ankles, hips, shoulders, and ears. The back extension consists of a lowering down phase and a raising up phase. Begin the lowering down phase by engaging the core and slowly, smoothly, and symmetrically bending at the hips to lower the upper body until the hips reach a 90-degree angle. Pause at the bottom of the movement and initiate the raising up phase by activating the core muscles of the back and the upper legs until the body returns to the starting position. Throughout both phases, be sure to maintain the alignment of the hips, shoulders, and ears, and to keep the head in a neutral position. It is essential to maintain a slow and controlled tempo when performing the back extension. Remember to inhale throughout the eccentric lowering down phase and to exhale before and throughout the concentric raising up phase. Be sure to avoid common mistakes of the back extension exercise, such as failing to align the hips, shoulders, and ears, shortening the range of motion, overextending the back, and swinging through the exercise. As with any exercise, close observation of form by the trainer is critical to minimizing risk of injury and maximizing the full benefit of the crunch and back extension exercises. Never allow a client's form to break down, compromising their safety and performance.